Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, welcome. My name is Marcelina. I'm a 15-year-old mystery romance author of The Blood That Divides Us. You may know me from that. It's very A Good Girl's Guide to Murder / One of Us is Lying / Binding 13 coded. It's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The links to purchase will be in the description down below. They always are. And that released almost a year ago. Mind-blowing, I know. However, I'm now working on my second YA mystery romance book. Maybe you've been living under a rock, I don't really know, but that's all I talk about. That is all this channel is dedicated for, is talking about my book and just trying to really explain the process, take you along to help any other aspiring or fellow teen writers out there, or really any writers who really want to get their books published. Maybe they don't think they're capable, but I'm here to prove that you are capable. It is possible. I do self-publishing. It is very accessible to anyone of all ages. Do not let your age hold you back. Now, Labeled Innocent, Presumed Dead is the name of the book. It releases on Valentine's Day of 2026. So we're coming up on 4 months, which is also the second mind-blowing thing here, because I swear I was just starting to plan and outline this book back in February of this year. So it's going to be a full year turnaround time. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. I think with The Blood That Divides Us, it ended up being like a 8-month turnaround time, 7-month, July to January. But it's a lot longer. I'm prolonging the process. This is a much longer book. It's much more thought out. And that brings me to what we were doing. So within that book, Labeled Innocent, Presumed Dead, I am currently on draft 3. Now the fun part about that is that draft 3, it can mean a number of different things to a number of different people. It's really just writer to writer, whatever your process is, approach it however you'd like. That is more than okay. But for me, I do draft 1 is draft 1. It's like the messy, chaotic, unhinged first draft that I think we're all familiar with around here. Draft 2 for me is like self-edits, developmental edits, whatever you want to call them. Basically, I'm just focusing on the big picture plot. I'm doing a full read-through, making all these revisions. But the catch is it's strictly self-edits. So I'm just editing by myself. Like everything I'm editing, I'm making comments because I think it needs to change. But we're not basing it on anyone else's opinion yet. However, draft 3 to 4 is where we start bringing in other people's opinions. I usually bring in, depending on the book, like 3 to 5, maybe 6 beta readers. Again, depending on the project and how rough it is, how much work I think it needs, if I'm planning to publish, if it's just a personal project, blah, 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 blah. Like, it really depends. For this one, I'm planning to have 5. The past few weeks have been pretty much preoccupied with just content after content after content of me sending it to beta readers, reacting to their feedback, implementing with their feedback, because I have sent it to 3 already at this point, and they have all accepted, which is amazing, and they finished, which is amazing, and they loved it, which is amazing. So their feedback has been ultra helpful. I'm eternally grateful for each and every one of them. So editing with their feedback has been very nice and not easy. Easy is on the tip of my tongue. That's not the right word, because it has not been easy. A lot of these changes I'm just struggling to make because I don't know what the heck to do, but we've persevered. I've finished the majority of them. However, 2 more things are going to happen in this video. So this is foreshadowing for what's going to happen in this video. Notice how I said that I'd only finished the majority of their edits. Not all of them. Not all of them. And it's not necessarily a person by person. I'm just combining all their feedback into a spreadsheet, and I'm tackling whatever I want to, whatever I figure out. So I don't really know who's who at this point. I mean, I kind of vaguely remember. I could go back and look at the Google form if I really care. But at this point, I'm just going through all of them. I'm combining things. I've left a couple of like major things, but not too many, and then mainly small things, some line edit stuff, some like discrepancies that I wouldn't really call plot holes. I mean, they kind of are if you want to be technical, but it's more just like I wasn't consistent with like a name change, because I changed a name like halfway through and it wasn't totally matched. So just like little things kind of, but it's still very tedious. I think that's what I'm trying to say, is I don't have like too many super thought-provoking things left. I have a couple I can think of off the top of my head. We'll get into what those are exactly in the video, but it's mainly just little things, but tedious things. Now, the reason why I'm so stressed and I need to tick these boxes off now is because today is currently Saturday, October 4th. I know, time is flying by. Don't ask me how. I don't know how. How is it already 4 days into October? Like, we had our whole, hey, what day is it? It's October 3rd moment yesterday. So iconic. My school had a pink out. It was like really, really fun. And almost exactly a week, actually, pretty much exactly, next Friday, October 10th, in addition to being my school's homecoming, which is going to be a blast, I already know, that's the day I'm sending it to my last round of betas. Now, the reason I split it up is because I realized I kind of made this mistake for my last book. See, if you notice a pattern here, I'm using my last book as a guide for like timeline purposes and like what I'm doing, but I'm trying not to repeat the same mistakes and I'm learning. So that was a really, really good experiment so I can perfect my process this time. With my last book, I just had one round. I think I had 4, I want to say, which is still great. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I like to have 3 to 5. So I was still right in that window, but the problem was that I did one round. So all of the really big developmental plot related revisions that they suggested, I did them. Well, I didn't do all of them, but I did the ones that I agreed with on a level that I could see unbiasedly. Like, I knew that they were right. I knew that they were onto something, that they had a good point. Like, I fixed them, but then no one read it after that. Which is a problem, because then I just called it good. Like, it was one of those things where they just gave me a problem. I came up with a solution, but no one checked after that to see if the solution was correct. Not even correct, because there's not like one correct answer when it comes to books and writing, but I just basically got no second opinion on what I just changed. I just continued with line edits and all these different other rounds, and then eventually published the book. And then the next people to read it, pretty much right after beta, not right after betas, but like the next people after betas to read it were not more betas, they were ARC readers. Like, it was already pretty much published and ready for the world at that point. I was not further editing. So that was where some issues came, because I think I would have been able to erase so many problems in hindsight if I would have had one more round of beta readers. It doesn't even need to be as many. I would not recommend as many as you did the first round. I would say cut it in half. So for example, I had 3 lovely, lovely people the first go around, and I think for the second round I'm aiming for 1 to 2. At the moment, I have contacted them and I'm waiting for the response, so I will update you when and if that happens. I'm getting at least one, guys. I kid you not. I am going to ask all of my potential options. I'm getting at least one person. I need at least one person to see all of these new revisions I've made, because I'm really doubting myself, and I want it to be a new person just so they can really get like the most neutral perspective. Not like, oh, I remember what it was. Oh no, I like what you did before, not this. Like, I don't want them to have that preconceived notion. I want it to be a completely like brand new set of eyes who didn't even read the first version, but like, do you like this version, period? Not necessarily better because you didn't read the first version, but like, do you like this version at all? Do you still see a problem with it? Because if they still see a problem with what I thought I already fixed, that's not going to be good. So that's my plan. That's really why I'm stressed and on deadline, because I have an actual deadline. I've made commitments to people, and it's not just like, oh, I'll finish the edits when I finish them. Like, I have other people to send it to, which means I need to finish every single one of the round 1 beta readers feedback by this Friday. So I have 6 days to make this happen. Let's get started.
Moving away to the sea for a getaway. Car top down and we're driving just to feel young. Moving away to the sea. Moving away, can't you see? Sand in your feet, feel the breeze in the summertime. Stars in the sky, one dime for a first time. Moving away to the sea. Moving away, can't you see? We'll drink honey by the ocean. It's our favorite potion. Come on, baby.
Hey guys, I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm kind of cold. My head hurts. I don't know. I just don't feel like doing this, but I'm sending it off in 5 days. It is now Sunday. I barely did anything yesterday on Saturday when I said I would, but I didn't. I got my Hoko dress. I took a little like mirror, like a faceless mirror pic in the dressing room with me. I'll flash picture on the screen. I also posted it on my community tab. So if you were not subscribed, this might be a good incentive. Like, you don't want to miss any of my posts or my videos or my edits or any of my uploads, now do you? Anyway, shameless self-promo over. That was that yesterday. We were at the mall for only a couple hours, so like not too bad. My brother from another state came over. He's here this weekend, so we've just kind of been spending time with him. We're actually gonna have a nice dinner in a few minutes. I've just been really busy and distracted and not in the mood to be doing this. Like, there's just a lot of other stuff that's like, I should be prioritizing this, but I'm not. Anyway, I'm forcing myself to, and I came across a very obvious plot hole that none of my beta readers pointed out, so maybe it's not that obvious, but it is though. Like, no shade to them, but how the heck did they not realize it? because it's only within, I think, like 10 pages of each other, so it's a very, very noticeable one. Basically, how do I say this without spoiling? So the Bureau, which is like the main government secret society group in this book, they have a hideout. It's in this cabin. I have an inspo picture of the cabin actually somewhere buried deep in my camera roll, because I downloaded it back when I was writing the cabin scene, which was in the beginning of the book, which means I would have written it back in June. So I've taken a lot of photos and whatnot since June, so I'll see if I can find it. If I can, I'll once again put it on the screen so you can see kind of my inspo when I'm referencing this cabin. And yes, from the outside it doesn't look very big, and it's kind of not, but gotta put the secret in secret society, you know what I mean? It's supposed to be a secret. They do have a basement, which is kind of cool, and in this basement is it's where Natalia is led first. So this is very early on. It's not that much of a spoiler because I think it happens in like chapter 9 or something, like very early on. The basement is kind of their like safe spot because there's nothing too confidential there. There's no offices, there's no files are stored down there. Imagine the most bare room, like completely empty, just dust and cobwebs and some old furniture. Like, yes, keep that visual in your mind. That's exactly what it is. So she's led there first. However, in that chapter, actually maybe even in chapter 10, what chapter am I in right now? Okay, I'm in chapter 11. So in chapter 10, it was described as Era's laboratory because she is kind of the DNA forensic analyst in this story. So she handles all that. She is really good at decoding pieces of DNA and evidence and getting fingerprints off and basically all that like biology type stuff, the microscopes, and she has like test tubes, and she's just like, that's her area of expertise. They all have one, and I described that as being attached to the basement. Here, actually, let me set my phone on my computer screen so I can search. Okay, let's see here. I want to get the exact wording. So my exact wording that I used was, okay, so it was Kyle introducing each member of the Bureau individually, and then he said, let's move on to something more productive. Introductions. Skipping over me, we have Era Huang, our forensic specialist. Her job is to work in the built-in laboratory attached to this basement, that's important, and analyze any piece of tangible evidence we find at the crime scene. Okay, that is literally chapter 10, page 46. Chapter 11, page 49, so I was wrong, 3 freaking pages later. Are you kidding me? I said, because now Jaden is giving Natalia a tour of the not of the basement, of the cabin, because they were like in the basement and she hasn't seen their place. But now that she's officially accepted and she's now a member, it became off limits. Like nothing is confidential, nothing is being kept a secret from her. Like she's one of them now, so it's fine. So he's giving her a tour, and she described it as, the next spot on the map was the laboratory attached to the back living area, not in the basement like one would expect. And then they go in there and then describes how the lab looks. In what world did I not just say that the lab is in the basement? And I just turned around and said it was attached to the back living area upstairs, like closer to when you first walk in, and not in the basement like one would expect. Make that make sense. The math is not mathing here, because the thing is that's this is the kind of thing that I'm almost glad I caught instead of a beta reader, because it would just make me feel so stupid, because I do feel stupid for that, because that is such a stupid move. It's just one of those things I would expect more if the initial description of the basement's location was page 46, and then this like blooper was in page, let's say like 280, like for some reason it was being mentioned because they're analyzing data again. Because yes, that's like half the book difference. Like of course I, from a behind the scenes perspective, probably would have written that like 2 to 3 weeks apart. Like it would just be natural for me to forget that. I'm not, even though I do have a timeline, that's kind of the end of my rope there. I'm not a very good artist. I was not blessed artistically. I was blessed with a writing skill, not a drawing skill whatsoever. So I did not draw a map or anything. I'm kind of just winging it. For the cabin descriptions, But I think what makes this even more embarrassing is that this is within 3 pages of each other. 3. Trace. 3. Like, what was going through my head? Because I remember I had like a pretty decent start with like the beginning-ish of this book. So 3 pages, I probably wrote that within like 2 days of each other. So, Marcelina, what is your excuse for this? What is your explanation? Because I don't think genuinely you have a valid one to defend yourself. This is actually insane. It's an easy fix, but it's actually not as easy as you may think, because the thing is for me to like reword this to make sense, they were already in the basement. So now I need to switch up this whole thing. Shoot, I just realized that. They were already in the basement. They went upstairs first to the kitchen. Then my whole plan originally in this draft was that like the kitchen's here, the living area's here. Laboratory's attached to the living room, like on the left side, so like opposite from the kitchen. So then they go there and then they go boom, like boom, boom, boom. And then they have to end in the lab because that sets up for like a plot point that happens in the next chapter. However, it wouldn't make sense if they start out in the basement, go up to the kitchen, because I have a whole like half-page kitchen scene right here, and then they go back down to the basement. That doesn't make any sense at all. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is, if the laboratory is in the basement, I'm going to keep that, which makes the most sense because I think I referenced that like 4 other times in other parts where Era's actually in action and Natalia's tagging along. I need to have the laboratory be their first stop because they were already in the basement. So they're not going to backtrack. They're going to go to the spots in the basement first, which is only the lab. So basically I need to like copy and paste this whole chunk, switch it, move it up there. So like right before, oh yeah, I know the perfect spot. I just need to like split this up. So let me just space. Okay. So I just need to copy and paste that up. I need to probably delete a few transition words that wouldn't make sense anymore, add a new transition, and then we should be good. So that should be a plot hole fixed. Easy peasy, but it's kind of a ridiculous one. So I thought I'd share. Anyway, I'll update you guys later. Can I just say something? I do not want this to come off as like me complaining or me whining. That's really not the intention behind this. That's really not what I'm trying to convey here. I'm not trying to put negative emotions out into this world. There's already enough of that from other people. I just want to say I'm feeling a little discouraged and a little stressed because I reached out to now 4 potential beta readers. 3 by email, 1 by Pinterest. And none of them have responded yet. And I know 2 out of those 4 I just asked today. It is currently 4:13 p.m. Tuesday, October 7th. And I just asked them. One of them I asked during Spanish class. When's my Spanish class? Like 10 in the morning maybe. And then the other I asked just a couple of hours ago, around noon, maybe 1 o'clock. So I'm not saying like, they need to respond now. Why are they ignoring me? I'm the last person to say that. Like, I am so behind on all my YouTube comments and all my DMs. So if you have DM'd me or commented and you're like, why is she ignoring me? Why is she ghosting me? I swear I'm not. I'm just so busy with student council and homecoming and a million and one responsibilities and things to do. Like the quarter's ending at my school and I'm got all straight A's at the moment. I have a couple more days. I just got to keep them up for that. And then we're good for this quarter. So I'm just like, there's a lot. I'm really stressed and like just trying to manage it. I'm still trying to like stay on top of things because at this point, what's the point of social media if I have nothing to show for it? So if I don't finish this book, what's the point of posting consistently and like everything? So I'm really trying to prioritize editing the book too, especially because I am on deadline. So anyway, I'm stressed for a million and one reasons, and I'm not here to tell people like, oh, you have to respond to me within like 24 hours. It just makes me nervous because I've officially decided I'm not going to send it to them on October 10th anymore. I don't know why. I thought for some reason that would be kind of cool, but then in student council we're going over the logistics of like how it's gonna work because we're running it obviously and we all have jobs and like things we're supposed to work all night and we're staying until midnight to clean up, and it's just like there is a lot going on Friday. I don't know in what universe I thought I was capable of sending it even to just one person because that does require some thought. I might send it to like my IRL friend because she's so chill about it. Like I'm still deciding how I want to do it with her. I don't think I'm going to give her a form. That's not what I did last time. she had a good system of organizing her feedback last time, and I trust her enough that I don't think I need to give her any guidance. So I think I'm just gonna send the document to her, which is pretty chill. So I might do that on Friday, but like if I am gonna do one like formal beta reader that's an online friend or another teen writer that I don't know in real life, just to get as many different variety of opinions as possible. Also, I want the most honest feedback. I really want like someone who literally does not know me or does not know me that well. So anyway, that's the plan. But I think for those people, which I say those people, I'm probably only gonna have one of those other like new beta reader, like online writer friend beta readers. I'll send it to them on Saturday. That's what I've decided. It's a day difference. If anything, it'll be like a few hour difference. It's not the end of the world. It's fine, because I'm gonna give them until Sunday, October 26th. Anyway, so that's over 2 weeks. That's 15 days, if you want to be exact. But yeah, I'm just getting kind of stressed because I don't have another beta reader at the moment. I just have my RL friend. So. And I don't even know, because I haven't even really talked to her. I've been talking to her, but not about that. So I need to do that. I'm like kicking myself because I feel like I'm low-key really behind, and I'm like, I feel like I'm doing this to myself. I feel like I'm stressing myself out and like procrastinating on communicating and reaching out to these people. Like I needed to do this earlier, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm just like stressed because what if I don't have any other beta readers? Like I need to find someone. I need at least one more person, okay? And I don't want to open it up to the public because I just have certain qualifications and criteria, and I'm kind of picky, which I realize I should not be. I think if I want anybody, like if I'm gonna get anyone, I need to let go of my pickiness with people, even though I'm just like, I'm really protective of my story. Not that I don't trust you guys, I just also, for a selfish reason, I don't really want to share it with you guys or like any really hyped fans of me or of my channel, because that would also take away from a sale opportunity, and I want you guys to like read it authentically on release and share your thoughts then. And I want you to read it more from like a reader perspective and not like a writer perspective where you're having to give me feedback. Like, again, maybe that sounds really selfish and narcissistic of me, but I think that's also why like I'm trying to pick beta readers who I'm friends with, who I talk to, who I admire the writing style, but also maybe who like aren't that big of fans on my channel or have not read my last book, so they don't have expectations going in. I don't know, maybe I'm just being too picky, but I'm getting discouraged because why does no one want to be a beta reader? Deep breaths. It's fine. I just need to focus on editing, because if I don't edit this freaking draft, I'll have nothing to give to them if and when anyone ever responds. So we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep moving. I'm gonna keep my head up, and I'm just going to work through feedback, and we will see what happens. And if it gets to like Thursday night and I still don't have anyone, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It is the same day as the last clip. It is Tuesday still, 7:08 p.m. now. I just got back from my school soccer game, and I come home to a Pinterest message from one of the girls I reached out to this afternoon asking if she wanted to be a beta reader. And she said yes. I'm genuinely so excited and so grateful, and all of these emotions. It just feels like that one moment where everything's been rough lately, and then you get this one good thing that happens that just completely turns your mood upside down, literally turns your frown upside down. I'm not exaggerating, as cliche as that sounds. Like, I'm so happy right now. So I need to go message her back, but I think I have my technically second, but my first official beta reader for this second round that I'm sending it to this weekend. This is so exciting. I'm really excited. She basically said that she's been like following my channel for a while, and she loves my videos, and my book sounds so interesting because she's a huge like Jennifer Lynn Barnes Inheritance Games fan, and that's a large part of what this book is inspired by. Also, she loves Powerless, and Jaden is so Kaya Zero coded, so that's gonna be fun for her. But she said it would be an honor, so I'm just so blessed that like she is interested, and she said yes, and the timing works for her. And I'm going to message her now to send her more information, figure out like the logistics, because I give people a choice. Like, if they're comfortable giving me their email, then that would be ideal to send the document and the Google form through. But I realized with my second beta that I can send it through Pinterest. That's what she prefers. It's all up to her, so I'm gonna go ask her. It's late. I think she's also in Eastern time zone, which is 3 hours ahead of me, so it's pretty late for her right now, I think. so I probably won't get a response until the morning, but I am so relieved. This is exciting. Okay, this gives me something to work for, because I'm not gonna lie, I was losing hope earlier. And this sounds so dramatic, but it's like, if I didn't have any beta readers, it's like, why am I rushing to get this done? Like, what's the point of a deadline then if I have no one? So the fact that I am making an official commitment to someone now really means I need to like focus. I need to finish editing by the deadline. I have no excuses anymore. I have no excuses. I'll update you guys tomorrow. Good night. Espresso. Don't mind me over here. So I've been editing, right? Okay, let me just, okay. To be able to talk about this, I need to give context. So let me give context. I'm writing this book, specifically the love triangle in this book, for the girlies, okay? Now, that does not mean that I'm gonna pull a certain, book talk trend where like the only value that the MMCs have is to be this hot love interest, whatever. Like, I promise I'm not doing that. I'm actually doing it right. I'm treating them with just as much worth and value as the FMC. Like, they are their own characters, both of them, because it's a love triangle. Obviously, there's two MMCs, Jaden and Kyle. I'm treating them as their own, and they have their own personality and misbeliefs and flaws and backstories and internal conflicts and external conflicts and all of the things. This being a romance, or like having a romance subplot in addition to the mystery, right? So that includes cute nicknames for both guys. For Kyle, calling Natalia darling or Leah darling, I gotta give Jaden something. But Jaden is half Russian, technically, and he speaks fluently the language. And that's kind of a central theme, is like he has to constantly translate, or like Natalia is left wondering, and you as the reader are left wondering, because sometimes he gives the translation, sometimes he doesn't. But for the things that he says, because he does say quite a bit in his native language, which has been fun to play around with, because I do want to sprinkle in some authenticity and not just have that be there for the sake of the plot, because it is an important, relevant detail to his family tree, which becomes important for a twist. But I wanted it to go deeper than that. I wanted to make it realistic, where I'm not just saying he's Russian for the plot, but like he's actually, like, I hate to say implementing it, but like, you know what I mean, hopefully. Like, I wanted to keep it realistic. So anyway, he gives Natalia a Russian nickname. He gives her the Russian nickname that in English translates to espresso. You're probably like, what the heck, Marcelina? I thought the whole like Wattpad fanfic trend of the weirdest nicknames on planet Earth is done and over with. Like, I thought we were done with our male love interest calling our female girlies kitten and baby cakes and carrot cake and whatever else the heck that Wattpad writers came up with that we all ate up at the time but we cringe at now. Anyway, hear me out, please. It's not that, and I know that sounds really cringy. The reason for this like espresso name is because of their meet cute. Like, how they literally, and I mean quite literally, bump into each other. And when I say literally, I mean like they actually physically do bump into each other. It's a cliche meet cute, sue me, I don't care. It's cute and it conveys like their vibes perfectly. I feel like they just are kind of that cliche love story. So that was a fun little tidbit to add. But during that scene is when he comes up with it. He's like very quick with the nickname, partially because he already knew her, but we'll get to that when you read it. You'll see how he already knew her, and she did not know that until the end. But they were at a coffee shop when they met, and she was so distracted. There was a lot going on. There's like some creepy guy that ends up being important later that's watching her, and she's just very like on edge, especially because that guy already approached her. So she's just very like jittery, and she doesn't notice. She like whips around really fast, spills her hot coffee all over Jaden. And yeah, so he nicknamed her Espresso. I think it's pretty fitting. Call me cringe, but I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I get tired of the basic, I don't want to say basic because I do eat them up, so I sound like a hypocrite. I will squeal and giggle and kick my feet every single time that I read one of them, but just more of like, I would say the standard or default nicknames, which they're safe choices for a reason, they're popular for a reason. Like, of course you do not want to go overboard, like I was saying before. That's not great either, so it's like two opposite sides of the spectrum. But I just feel like every book nowadays uses darling or sweetheart or love or my love or anything like that. And like, don't get me wrong, like again, people devour them for a reason. not saying that they're not good or they're going out of style, but I think once in a while it's good to switch it up, give them flavor, personality, because not every guy's gonna say that. I mean, first of all, like, no IRL guy is gonna say that, let's be so for real. But that's why guys in books do it better. But I just feel like with Kyle already calling her darling, and I think, if I'm remembering correctly, there's a scene where he calls her love or my love, something of that sort. I wanted to give Jaden a little bit more flair, because Jaden is definitely more like playful and has more flavor anyway, in the sense that he's just so like quirky and out of the box. He is just unhinged, and I felt like him giving such a kind of quirky nickname fit. However, it's in Russian, and so technically the Russian word for espresso, getting back to my original point, looks something like this. Which you're probably, unless you are fluent in Russian, because I do know I put up a post a couple of months ago that was like originally satire. It was not me being serious, but I learned that I have at least 2 fluent Russian speakers who watch my videos, which is so fun. I love that. Makes me a little nervous that I'm gonna screw up the translation in the book and then y'all are gonna hate me, but we're just gonna have faith in myself. Anyway, as you can imagine, I think for the rest of you guys, and me included, can we pronounce that? If we're reading that in a book, is that gonna like trip us up and kind of take us out of the story? Because it's like, how the heck, what do I do with this word? Is it spa? Where do I even, yeah. Word vomit, all of that. Like, you're so confused. So my beta reader was one of those people. Beta number 2, actually, she made a comment that I just now got around to, and she was essentially saying like, it's a cute nickname, but like I need to include some sort of pronunciation guide somewhere. And it made me think, I was like, originally I was gonna actually go literal with that and do an actual pronunciation guide, because I figured it might be helpful. Then I actually like stopped to think about that logically, and I was like, I don't just want to do this for the plot. I don't just want to do it to do it and it not make sense, because if I really think about it, there are only a couple of things that I can think of off the top of my head that would even need to be in the pronunciation guide. That nickname, Era's name, I would say, because I feel like you guys probably know it by heart, and I know people that I know in real life, like when they say it fine, but that's because I've said it. It's because you've heard me say it for months and months and months. And I remember when I first introduced her back in like April, I want to say, I even like spelled out her name and I was like, Era. It's basically the A is silent, so it's like the Eras tour, and I think that just stuck in people's minds. But like, if you're a brand new reader, if you have not heard of me, if you have not watched any of my videos or heard me talk about it or anything, you may just, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like easy, but I'm just like, her name maybe, but I feel like that's about it. I feel like everyone else is really kind of basic. I mean, maybe Michael, it's Michael. Like, I think the one where it's like CH is more like Americanized way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know like if I read any like Russian mafia books or something, that's always the spelling. So I think it's pretty familiar to people where people wouldn't need pronunciation guide. But anyway, I decided against that because I was like, it's too niche, it's too specific, I don't really need it, and I do not want to put unnecessary things in this book. This book is already going to be thick. I do not need to add any pages that don't need to be there. So I decided on just finding a scene that I could have Jaden say it, so it is kind of a show don't tell thing. So instead of me literally telling the reader, hey, this is how it's pronounced, and I can kind of show it. I mean, Jaden's still telling, but that's not the point. Like, I could kind of show it theoretically with Jaden saying it aloud in a dialogue form to Natalia, because also like she has to know, you know what I mean? Like, if it's in a pronunciation guide, unless we're breaking the fourth wall here, she's not gonna know either. So I feel like that's not realistic, because it's like, yeah, she'll hear it coming from Jaden's mouth, so that's, maybe her ears will pick up on it and she'll recognize, but it's still weird and she probably wouldn't remember. So just to make it easier for her and readers alike, I decided to go the route of Jaden just outright saying it. So I was like kind of confused about that. I was kind of sitting at my computer. You should have seen me a few minutes ago. I was just like dead face, blank eyes, staring, because I didn't know where to put it. Except then I realized, oh, right, I should just put it the first time he says it. And it fits perfectly because the scene in which they first meet, like their meet cute, and Jaden first kind of assigns her the nickname, that sounds so weird, but like he first comes up with it, he just calls her and she's like, what the heck, what? And then he literally says what it is. He's like, it means espresso in Russian. And so I was like, whoa, light bulb moment, that's the perfect place. So I had him repeat it, so he like said the word again, and then he said how it's pronounced, and then he said it means espresso in Russian. So it all flows really, really well. I was reading over it and it works. Like it doesn't sound too out of place where it's like, oh yeah, the author's just putting this there, like she's just trying to find a place. Like the whole point is it's supposed to flow. I think that's really the point with any sort of revision, any sort of edit. Your readers should not be able to tell that you added that in. They should not be able to tell why you added it. It should just be nice and consistent and cohesive. And I think that's what I did, because I feel like in that context, for someone, a foreigner, for her, like from his perspective, because she's a foreigner to his native language of Russian, he already has to explain what it means, like the translation in English. So I feel like a normal person might as well kind of break it down how it's pronounced. Even though he is kind of saying it, so now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like it doesn't make sense. Because he's like saying it, and then he's saying it again, like verbally. I don't know if this makes any sense. I think I'm just yapping and rambling at this point. But basically, long story short, that was, I don't know, about 12 more words that I added. It was a teeny tiny bit, but espresso is how it's pronounced in Russian. And again, if anyone who's fluent in Russian or knows that can correct me, please do in the comments, because I also would need to fix that ASAP. I do not want to go around spreading false information. However, that is what she said, because my lovely beta reader was so kind and actually looked it up for me, and she told me. And then not that I didn't trust her, but I just wanted to make sure, because she lives in a different country, I believe. So I was just like, I didn't want there to be kind of a language barrier or anything, because I know, like, you know, America is weird, and like American English is so different from like British English, for example, and other parts of the world. Like, it's the same word, but like spelling wise, there's extra letters, so I just wanted to like double check. She's correct, and I added that in, and it may seem weird. Like, I feel like if you think about it too much, it's weird, so just don't think about it too much and we'll be fine. But basically, it's like espresso, except I don't really know why we do that. Why do we? I don't know if this is an American thing, like I said. I don't know. Other people from other countries, please let me know. But I feel like at least in America, we say espresso. Like, for the longest time, I thought that the word was spelled with an X, because we all say espresso. We don't say espresso. It's so mind-boggling. Hello? I don't know why we do that. But anyway, we really cut out that like X sound that shouldn't even be there in the first place. And in Russian, we like super duper emphasize the espresso. And then instead of saying espresso, drop the O and add an like a UH. Espresso. That's how it's pronounced. So anyway, remember this tidbit, save this, screen record this, so that you can come back to it when you're reading the book and you're like 100 pages in and he already explained it, but like you don't want to, you're too lazy to flip back all the pages and you forgot how to pronounce it and your eyes are skimming over and you're like, what the heck? Espresso. You're welcome. Hey guys, quick car update. The lighting is kind of lighting. Something just hit the car. Anyway, during math class today, I probably shouldn't have been doing this, but I'm rewriting like the Jaden and Natalia meet cute introduction, and I was listening to a Russian song, and it really got the vibes, and I'm just like, I'm really liking it. I hated it, and you know it's bad when not only you hate it, it was one of the comments I made on my self-edit draft 2 comments, but then when your beta reader comments like, this is cringy, that's how you know it's bad. So I made like a double, triple mental note, like this needs to be fixed. It's not just me being subjective or picky, like this is obviously wrong, I need to change it. And I'm changing it, and I like it. Hopefully it's not too forced, or like Natalia's not too much of a switch up, but I'm liking the direction it's going. So I think we're gonna continue and just see what happens. Hi guys, I'm like jumping for joy right now, quite literally, because remember how I said on Tuesday I had messaged 2 people and asked them if they want to be a beta reader. One of them was on Pinterest. She was the one that actually got back to me that you saw in a prior clip that she said yes, and I was super, super thrilled. And she actually did give me her email yesterday, a little update on that, so I put it in my spreadsheet. I'm ready to send it to her on Saturday. But then I mentioned that I had also emailed another author. Well, she's an aspiring author. She's hoping to publish her debut soon. She has a channel on here. She's literally like the most bubbly, sweetest, positive, just like inspiring person. She paved the way so much for me as a fellow author tuber and young writer, and I love her. I sent her the email. She actually wasn't even one of the ones I emailed on the same day that I messaged the other girl. That girl that I did message on the same day that I said I messaged in Spanish class actually emailed me back this morning, like 3 in the morning, to say that she's not able to do it, which is fine. She doesn't need to provide any reasoning. It's her choice for whatever reason she has against it. But I actually emailed this girl on Friday. And she apologized to me in her email back that she's been really busy, which I completely understand, like me too. But she said she'd be honored, and my book sounds right up her alley, and she would love to, and the timeline's gonna work for her. And what makes me also like super duper happy is I know I'm gonna get some good quality feedback from her, because she vlogged the process of this and talked about it, and she actually just went through around, I think, now I'm forgetting, 10 or 15 beta readers for her debut novel back in like May, June. So just a few months ago. So, and I even included this in my initial email to her. I was like, I know that you did this recently, so like you understand the grind, you understand how this works. And so I definitely am excited, and this sets me up because those were the two that I really, really wanted. And so the fact that I secured them means the world to me, and I just already know that I'm gonna get some laser-eyed feedback, which at this point, I think I'm so ecstatic. This sounds crazy, and my future me is probably gonna be like side-eyeing me right now. I don't even care how many critiques they have or how many things that they want me to change, even after I already changed everything, and it's gonna take like weeks more and it's gonna put me behind. I don't care. I'm just so happy to have the 2 beta readers that I really, really, really wanted. So that definitely feels like a weight off my shoulders. I'm so happy. And just like that, every single beta edit is now complete. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back because woohoo! Every single piece of beta reader feedback that I decided to go with. Now, don't be fooled. That doesn't necessarily mean like every single thing that one of my 3 beta readers said, because I don't know if I really harped on this, and it's super late Thursday night. Like I just got home from a student council like assembly rehearsal for homecoming tomorrow, and it's really late and I still need to take a shower and wash my hair. If you haven't noticed, that's why I put it in these frizzy ugly braids, because I haven't washed my hair in like 4 days and I really need to wash it tonight. So anyway, I need to wrap this video up. But one last thing, I will have like 2 more videos on beta readers in the next couple weeks, don't you worry. But I think the one thing that I do really want to emphasize is the fact that like, do not think for a second that you have to listen to every single beta reader's suggestion, critique, piece of advice, opinion. It's called advice for a reason. It's called an opinion for a reason. If you haven't noticed, those things and every synonym to those words essentially mean they are just one person's thought. They're completely subjective. To the same token, that doesn't mean that every single thing they say is necessarily the right choice or like what you should do for your story. Only you know what your story needs. Only you know what you meant to say, if you meant to convey a certain thing, if you meant to, like if you're adding something that you really feel strongly about for a personal reason that you don't really want to disclose to them, but it's like it's really important to you and you put that in there for a reason. If they disagree with that because of their personal circumstances, their backstories, their like how they grew up, maybe some like religious things. And again, I say this in the nicest way possible, but that's kind of on them. I think that's the fun part about reading. I mean, it could be fun and not so fun at the same time, but everybody has their own opinions that are shaped on factors in their life, and that affects, you know, how they think of certain characters, certain cliches and tropes, all of that stuff. I mean, like, why do you think some people absolutely adore Fourth Wing and it's like easily the biggest, most popular fantasy romance of the last 5-10 years, and then you could go on YouTube and similarly see like 2-hour rant videos about how people hate it? It's the same thing. People have different opinions, and it could literally be about the same piece of literature, the same thing, and those people are going to think differently about it, and that is okay. Your job as a writer and as a person, period, in your life, but especially as a writer, we're talking about it from that context, Your job is not to please everybody. Do not think that you have to write this perfect book in mind where it's like, okay, I can't include this trope because it's going to piss off one person. But then I also don't want to make this character too morally gray, because too morally gray characters piss off this other group of people. Who cares? Write for yourself first and foremost, but then you will find your target audience. Anyway, that did turn into a little rant, but what I'm trying to say is it's kind of the same principle for beta readers. I would say like 80% of the time they're onto something and they're right, and you should listen to their feedback because you're blinded by writer blindness and you can't see what they can, what an outsider perspective can. And if you're going to get those opinions and those like especially unanimous thoughts anyway when and if you publish, and you're gonna get that anyway, when you want to do it earlier on to potentially prevent those problems and take a step back and be like, oh yeah, they're kind of right. Now that I've distanced myself from the story a little bit, I'm a little less defensive about it. It's been a couple months, like I see what they're saying and I agree with it. That's all that matters here. But also then again, do you have to take every single piece of advice? No. That's not their job. They're not trying to step in, nor should you be wanting them to step in and like rewrite your whole story. Like they're writers of their own story, maybe if you did pick writers to be beta readers, but even so, you're the writer of your own story, literally. Like they're there for guidance. It's kind of like a counselor or a therapist. They are there strictly to give you guidance and help and suggestions. They're there to kind of help you see problems that you maybe don't see because you're like in it, and you can't, you're kind of blinded to maybe some of your own flaws or how you're handling something or how you're coping or etc. But then someone else who has no tie to this, they have no bias themselves, can kind of give you advice. But it's up to you to take that advice. It's up to you to implement it. It's up to you to decide like whether or not what they're saying is right, whether it applies to you, because only you know if what they're saying would truly work for you or if it truly is meant for you. And at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your body. Like they can give you all the help and suggestions and tips, but if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like it's up to you to make that decision of if you're going to listen to them or not, if you think that they know best or not. And it's important not to lose sight of what you want to and what you think is best for yourself and your story too in this case. So anyway, I did not take every single piece of advice, but I think that's normal and you really shouldn't. I think you don't want to lose sight of your original vision for something, especially with being creative. That's when burnout happens. That's when imposter syndrome happens. You don't want to start taking the personality of someone else and like what they think and then make like their ideas into a story, because then that's not your story. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just took the advice of all of the beta reader feedback that I could step back and like objectively agree with from like a non-biased standpoint. I did have to bite my ego a couple times, but you know what? It makes the story better, and I do think the story is 100,000% better with a lot of these changes. So I'm very, very pleased, and I'm so excited to send it to those 2, possibly 3 beta readers this weekend. So I will be vlogging that. That will be coming next week. So stay tuned. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are not already, so you do not miss an upload from me. Any of my edits, any of these other vlogs. I mean, don't you want to see all my hard work pay off and, you know, follow me until the end of my journey when I do publish this book? Like, don't you want to read it? Anyway, thank you so much for your support and staying until the end. It means the world to me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will be seeing you all in the next video very, very soon. Bye!